Hello, everybody. It is June the 7th, 2020, here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and the co-host of Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them, except this one, the NXT Takeover in your house thing. Nostalgia is what we're calling it. So yeah, we're not covering it, but there's something extra special that's going to be happening tonight for the NXT Takeover in your house thingy that I'm going to talk about right here in a little bit. I think The Rock said it best to the Big Show nearly 22 or 23 years ago when he said, Big Show got a haircut. Big Show got a haircut. I got a haircut. 5 pounds taken off my head. Oh, God, it feels so much better. I feel so much better. All the back and the sides gone. It is incredibly uneven because the young lady that was cutting my hair was in a rush because there was a lot of other people that was going to be getting their hair cut. So, yeah, just put some stuff in it to not make it look too much uneven, and it's all good. And I had it cut a little short so that I'm preparing for a second wave over here in the Carolinas and expecting another stay-at-home to hit. So that's what I'm doing there. Okay, so, yes, lots of stuff to talk about, but first, got to take care of the pleasantries first. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. I saw some people showing up in there, and I know others are going to be coming in. Where the heck are you? I post up the chat thingy to show up in the bar. Everyone else has got to know that you're supposed to say wee when you show up in the chat room. Where is everybody? I think I saw Gills. Did Jamel show up yet? I think he's in there. I saw a Lewis of sorts. Who else is in there? Come on, there you go. There's Machoon Walls going wee. Yes, it's an early show just because of the pay-per-view. There's Gills. Who else is in there? Come on. I know there's a little bit of a delay, and you gotta wait. I gotta wait until it shows up in my window for all of you people to show up and everything. But I'm so excited, I can't help it. All right, carry on with the show because I know you'll show up and I will acknowledge you. Chris in the chat room say we. No, it's not we. It's we. There's no H. It's just we. There you go. On the show today, going over NXT. Going over the go-home episode of NXT leading up to the In Your House pay-per-view thingy. Episode of Smackdown. New champions crowned on the Smackdown show that we're going to talk about. And also, a lot of people off the milk carton. There's a lot of milk carton news that we're going to talk about, too. News coming down the pipe from last week. Going to fill you in on all the headlines and everything that happened last week. The milk carton is very interesting this week. The WWE Milk Carton. We are 37 performers deep in the WWE Milk Carton, and it's very interesting. You'll see what I mean when we go over the long list. Injury updates. Also, very sad news. To me, it's sad news. Regarding Jinder Mahal and his recent return from injury. He is on the sidelines again. More to talk about with that. And then finally, we're going to go back over predictions that Miss Victoria Tedesco, the queen of Wrestleview, made for NXT Takeover in your house. A match has been added to the card that was probably going to air on the pre-show. So this here is the pre-show to the pre-show is what we're doing. Speaking of the pre-show, later tonight, since Wrestleview Live, we don't normally do recaps for NXT Takeover shows. What we will do, though, are live watch-alongs. And so, later tonight, I want to say I'm going to try to get on the air at the same time that the pre-show will air at 6:30. So, 6:30, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. Get on there, because I'm going to be on there. And I'm going to be watching the NXT TakeOver show alongside with you guys. So tune in, giving my own, takes and, kind of be an announcer type sorts. I've got plenty of stuff. I'm pre-gaming right now, which is mandatory for WWE and NXT pay-per-views, so it doesn't hit us too hard, I guess. So the show doesn't hit us too hard is the best way to put it. Oh, sources. What are the sources today? Okay. Yes, Gills, exactly. Fuck this match. Exactly. So on the sources today, and I'm not sure how this can is going to show up because there's a lot of green in this can. I guess it showed up okay. This is from I have right now, I think, my 3 favorite breweries right now. D9 Brewery out of Cornelius, North Carolina. They specialize in the sours that I love so much. Let me see. If I had another one, maybe Edmund's Oast out of Charleston. I think it's probably Edmund's Oast out of Charleston. They also deal in a lot of sours, a lot of goes beers. But my numero uno favorite brewery is Noda Brewery out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They have my Hop Drop and Roll is my go-to IPA. Hop Cakes is my number 1 absolute favorite beer from them. It's the 10.7 Imperial IPA with Vermont maple syrup. God, it's so good. And also they make other beers like my Noda Hijo. It's a light Berliner Weiss with lime and coconut, I'm sorry. But today, special brew from Noda Brewery. We are having their Valencia Pale Ale. It's their Valencia Pale Ale. It's a very light one. It's a 5.1 ABV. Trevor in the chat room, I see you. Here's the description for the Valencia IPA. This American Pale Ale infuses robust and aromatic citra hops with the tangy citrus zing of Valencia orange peel for a light, refreshing brew that leaves you with a clean, zesty mouthfeel. Is mouthfeel a word? When's the last time you've had mouthfeel? Mouthfeel. Clean, zesty mouthfeel. Well, that sounds a lot better than dirty, grimy mouthfeel, I guess. I guess that's the best way to put it. Hello, Ebony! Ebony in the chat room. Yeah, so that's what we're having. Valencia Pale Ale. It's an American Pale Ale. Difference between American and India Pale Ale. India Pale Ale is incredibly hard on the hops. It is very, very bitter. That's why so many people may be, it seems, I think IPAs to me are, when you talk beers to people, just as much as you would talk pizza to people, and you mention Hawaiian pizza to people, there's that stark line between those that like it and those that don't. And when you've chosen which side of that line you're on is when everyone starts questioning each other, are you a true fan of pizza? Beer is the same way. There's the IPA line, and you're either for it or you're against it. And those that choose the sides start questioning the other if you actually like beer. So I'm not like that at all. I like all beers. I'm a very seasonal drinker is the thing. It's 94 degrees outside. I am not drinking a Guinness. Okay? And when it's in the 40s outside with a wind chill in the 20s, and I know everyone in North going, oh, that's nothing. But when it's that cold outside, I am not going to drink a sour. So I'm a very seasonal drinker. And these types of days where it's incredibly hot outside is when I drink very light beers that are at least very tart beers, not heavy on the IPA, heavy on the ABV. So that's what we're having. In the Stein of Redemption is the Valencia Pale Ale. Let me try this. Incredibly light on the orange. Okay, it's a very good pale ale. It's not too bitter, like an IPA would be, or a hazy IPA. But the orange is, there's a slight hint of it. The aftertaste, the mouthfeel that they're talking about, is a lot better than when you're drinking a regular IPA, because the aftertaste of an IPA, a DIPA, a double IPA, or a hazy IPA is not good. We'll just put it that way. Trevor's saying you can't go wrong with Bud Light. Look, no problem with anyone who prefers Bud. Actually, I'm going to take back my previous statements. I like all beers. No, there's only one beer I don't like, and that's Pilsner. I can't stand Pilsner beers. Everyone says they taste like piss. That's not the analogy that I'm going to make. The analogy I'm going to make is it doesn't taste like beer. It's water. I'm not tasting anything. I can't remember the last time I've had a Pilsner and enjoyed it. And I'm talking Coronas. I'm talking everything American domestic down the line. Can't stand them. Even some craft breweries do Pilsners. I can't stand them. I don't care if it's from a craft brewery. I hate Pilsner beers. So that's okay. You can have it. That's okay. I'm not putting you down. Knock yourself out if you want Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Ice, Ice House, PBA, Milwaukee's best natural and natty light. Knock yourself out. Okay? I will not tear you down. Okay? That's all you. You've got it. Okay? Ebony saying I should do a state hopping beer run. We have several breweries here. Ebony, thank you. What about, Machoon brought it up, what about craft beer? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, craft beers that do Pilsners, I'm not a fan of. Whenever Deanna, myself, or anyone in the family, when we go traveling, I always want to have beers from that area, is what I want, okay? I love trying new beers. Yeah, and I always try to bring as much as I can from where I travel home, you know? So, yeah, I would love to do like a state hop and run. That sounds like something I would do when I retire. You know, as much people they like to travel with NASCAR, going to every single race, or a baseball team, and you travel with them to go to all the baseball stadiums. I would like to do almost like the nationwide beer run, you know, something like that. Trevor's saying that I should do a show from a brewery. I thought about doing a show from a bar, okay? I would love to do it from Ultimate Ales. Ultimate Ales is a craft beer bar that's just within walking distance from me. Gosh, I wish I could set up everything right there and do the show there, but it would just be kind of weird, you know? And a lot of stuff, background would be filtering into the mic, and people would be looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? I wish I could, you know? But that would just be weird. I'd have to be at a bar that enjoys wrestling and promotes the wrestling and stuff. And so, maybe in time, we'll see if that happens. But in the meantime, on the show, NXT, Smackdown, Go Home NXT, episode of Smackdown that was incredibly fun. Headlines of the week. Injury updates, the WWE Milk Carton going back over the predictions for NXT TakeOver in your house that I'll be watching later this evening. I better see all of you jokers in here later tonight, okay? I don't know if I'm probably not going to be drinking the same beers. It reminds me, I may need to get some more. Because I don't have enough to drink the same beer throughout this show. I've got like 2 cans of different kinds of stuff. I'll show them off. Yeah, that's what we'll do, is we'll just shuffle it around. If I'm feeling like I need a little more moxie, I'll have a Jack and Coke or something. But till then, all right, let's get on with the show. Okay. Go home episode of NXT. Yeah. Let's talk about that sans stupid cage match. Hey, Doug, can we work that again one more time? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with my board right there. All right. NXT results. This was the finals episode, the finals of the Little Critter interim championship tourney thingy. Ebony, I'm glad you got your tech issues fixed. Yes, I did. Yes. You know, after taking tequila shots for the faux pas of technology, I learned my lesson. So, yes, we got everything fixed. NXT results coming us from the effervescent Mike Tedesco. Let's start things off with Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim. This match did not last long. Ended up being a double countout. A schmoz would ensue. Take your pick on who would be showing up here. First, Mia Yim slamming LeRae into the barricade. As time would progress after the double countout, we would have Tegan Knox would come out, then Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, and then Shotzi Blackheart, and so there's a big old schmoz going on. Who would come to Candice LeRae's defense but Johnny Gargano? And then after Johnny Gargano comes out, out comes Keith Lee. And then once that happened, then Teddy Long came out.
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Yep, that's right, because since all four of them wanted to go at it, now we got the Teddy Long special. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano versus Mia Yim and Keith Lee in a mixed tag team match. Yeah. I am getting sick and tired of this. I am really getting sick and tired of the Teddy Long special. Okay? I'm tired of it. It happens on every single show has gotten a Teddy Long special of some kind. I don't have to explain what the Teddy Long special is, do I? No, it's, you know, you started off as a singles tag, the schmoz happens and it turns into a tag, or you had a tag match and another schmoz happens, it turns into a 6-man. It happens all the time.
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
The Teddy Long special. We get it all the time. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano versus Mia Yim and Keith Lee. Here we go. Keith Lee was going to help Johnny Gargano to the ring. Candice LeRae. Ebony saying saying that Candice LeRae has such a shitty look. Well, if it makes you angry, it's working. If it looks horrible, that's fine. But the look is supposed to make you cringe. So, yeah. She might have the worst look in all the women's division. I don't know. I think there are other women that have worse looks than Candice LeRae. Oh, is it time? Okay, then let's go ahead and name them. All right. Women that have a worse look than Candice LeRae. And the worst look is not saying that they're ugly. It's just that they don't have a presentation that sets them apart from everyone else. So, go. Women that have a worse look than Candice LeRae. Rhea Ripley can be one. I'm gonna go with who is the NXT UK Women's Champion? What is her name? Del Rey or something? What is NXT UK Women's Champ? I'm trying to remember because she looks incredibly vanilla. Natalia? Maybe? I don't know. Well, she's been around for so long, so she can have whatever look that she wants. Kaylee Ray. There you go. Thank you, Gills. Kaylee Ray is one that comes to my mind. Not just a bland look. Just incredibly bland look. I'm seriously going through all of the women on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and every one of them... No, Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox is bland. She is incredibly bland. Casey Catanzaro? No, not really, Gills. No, I don't think I'd put her up there. Dana Brooke? Maybe? But right now, I think the blandest to me right now... gosh... No, not Wooby Wyatt. No, Wooby Wyatt looks different from everyone else. We know that for a fact. Liv Morgan? I mean, but the thing is, when we talk about, has different looks, I mean, I don't want to sound chauvinistic or anything. Yeah. it's just, I want to say the women's divisions right now are doing a way better job in setting their performers apart than the men's divisions are. The problem with the women's division is because you have all of these incredibly unique looking performers, but you're not moving them up. And what I mean moving them up is you're not giving them enough time, enough program energy to have everyone recognize them. That's my thing. When it comes to the men, everyone is a long-haired brunette with a goatee. Everyone's got long brown hair, long dark hair, and has a goatee. That's the men's division. Period. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano would win the mixed tag match. So there you go. When Johnny Gargano would use his car keys to blind and stab Keith Lee. Assault? Maybe. I don't know. Dexter Lumis is being interviewed backstage about what's the thing with what you got with the Undisputed Era type thing. He goes off camera and then shows up with an easel and some magic markers. And then they go to commercial. He starts drawing, then they go to commercial or something. Drake Maverick is interviewed, the underdog story of this entire tournament. Yeah. The underdog story of this tournament being Drake Maverick, we understand that. And it's not, and if it weren't for Drake Maverick, you probably wouldn't care about the Little Critter interim title tournament thingy. Who I said earlier has never been released from the company. No, he was never released from the company. But the storyline is that he was released from the company, and so he is fighting for his career, not just for the title, but for his career. We return from commercial to find that Dexter Lumis has finished his drawing, like Oscar from Saturday Night Live, and shows him driving a truck with bundled up members of Undisputed Era in the bed of his truck. First off, he actually drew that. He actually drew that. I mean, Dexter Lumis, check out his Twitter feed, check out his Instagram. He is a talented caricaturist. He is good. Okay, so first off, that is not a fake. He actually drew that. Okay. Number two, I think that's great. Dexter Lumis is right now one of the most interesting, not surreal, eccentric, I guess is another word. Eccentric is the word I'm thinking of about him. He's creepy, but he does weird things, but they aren't exactly weird. They're just awkward. And that's why I like this character, I guess, is the best thing. Expressionless, speaks with his eyes, his actions. He's just a weird guy. I think the best thing I liked about him was I looked on his Twitter feed. He enjoys Bloody Marys, and there's one short little video of him with a Bloody Mary, and he just dumps it on his head for no reason whatsoever. I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of random peculiarity of Dexter Lumis. Tony Nese versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. Little critters doing little critter things is pretty much it. Yeah, little critters doing little critter things. Yeah. Who cares? Your winner would be Swerve Scott. So there you go. Gil saying he's more intrigued about Dexter's role than the title match itself. I gotcha. Dexter Lumis does sound like a serial killer's name. Yeah, it does, Machoon. All right, now. Triple threat tag team match to figure out the number one contenders for the NXT tag team titles currently held by... Who is it? Who are the NXT tag team champions? I know who they are. I'm just really asking, I don't think metaphorically. I'm just asking if you really know. But Imperium are the NXT Tag Team Champions, and who will they be facing? It is a triple threat match featuring Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the team of them, of Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong? Or will it be the returning Tyler Breeze and Fandango? Breezango. Returning from injury is Fandango. We have not seen him since around last November, where he had an elbow separation during a tag team match with the Singh twins on an episode of NXT. He was due to return in last February, but never did because he's too busy helping film season 3 of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Okay, so Breezango. Also, Tyler Breeze off the milk carton. We hadn't seen Tyler Breeze since early March, where he had a singles match against Austin Theory on an episode of NXT to confirm that Austin Theory was a thing. Since then, Austin Theory had appeared in his first WrestleMania at the age of 22 and has been a mainstay on Monday Night Raw and on television every single week. So, Tyler Breeze doing his job. So, Breezango is back, and they end up winning. Your winner of the match, Breezango. They are the new #1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team titles to face off against Imperium. Fandango has not missed a beat. Whee! Fandango has not missed a beat. Whee! Yeah, it's just a separated shoulder, but it wasn't a separated knee. Whee! No, he has not at all. Whee! Okay, that's enough of that. I know I need to get a soundboard thing for the wheeze, but I think I have too much fun doing them myself. Yeah, that's what I say. So, #1 contenders are Breezango. They exit out the ring. They're celebrating. Undisputed Era is kind of holding their heads and what? And then suddenly from behind Breezango appears Malcolm Bivens along with his team of Indus Sher, the big Indian guys, Rinku and Saroff. Malcolm Bivens and Indus Sher off the milk carton. We haven't seen them since mid-March, I believe. No, actually, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, since we've seen them, where they were just giving a monologue saying how great they were when they've only had really one match and running in on another tag team. So not so much a big deal are Rinku and Saroff. They're incredibly green. They're really hard to watch. Alongside Malcolm Bivens, who, don't get me wrong, I'm Malcolm. Our FFS and editor-in-chief demands that his name is Malcolm Bivens. Look, Malcolm Bivens is hilariously entertaining on the Twitter, but I have no idea what he is on NXT. His facial expressions are everywhere. I don't know if he is being funny or serious at all. I don't know. I mean, it's not like when he was in Ring of Honor or Evolve, where he was the funny guy or, the obnoxious asshole that would get beat up. I don't know what he is in NXT, and there are a lot of people. I don't know what the heck a lot of people are on NXT to begin with. Faces or heels? What are faces and heels? Ilia versus Santana Garrett. With Robert Stone looking disheveled in tow behind Ilia. Your winner of this contest, winning her very first match after so many horrible matches. Santana Garrett. First off, Santana Garrett is not on the main roster, so that's why you don't really see her on the WWE Milk Carton. You want to talk about someone who looks bland? You want to talk about someone that, channeling her inner Mickey James? That's Santana Garrett, sans the roast beef. No, this wasn't anything to pay attention to other than Robert Stone being dejected and disappointed that Ilia lost, even though we don't even know if they have a working relationship at all. I need to say something right now. First, our effervescent one states after this match and tweets, the Robert Stone brand thing has barely been established, parentheses, and his brand only had one signee. Does anyone really care about the Robert Stone character losing it all when he never had anything to begin with? Okay. I love the Robert Stone character. A guy who is trying to signing, who he thinks are great talents, tacking his name to them, hoping to make money off of them, and they quickly learn that he's using them to try to make money, and so he becomes disheveled and at his wit's end. Jamel in the chat room going, wee! And now he has Ilia, who's begging to have his recognition in his brand, but she keeps losing, and he is just like, the fuck, what's going on? I love this, okay? I love this character. I love this dynamic. Not every character that is debuted onto a wrestling show has to be successful within the fantastical realm of sports that we have. All right? Not every new act that comes in needs to be dominant, needs to show that they are something everyone should be afraid of. Not every act needs to be like that. Do I need to give examples? Be more than happy to. Fandango. Sure, he won a match at WrestleMania, and then everyone loved singing his theme music, and that was about it. Bo Dallas? The Bo Leave gimmick? He maybe won 1 or 2 matches, but then he would get beat up regularly. Who else? Who else do I need to say, was a debuting or brand new talent, but would lose considerably? They are actually the cream of the crop of your roster. All right. For one, they're on TV regularly. The character is being displayed in full force. And even in this match of Ilia versus Santana Garrett, it had absolutely nothing to do with Santana Garrett, the eventual winner of the match. This was about Robert Stone. This was about Robert Stone. So, not every new act has to win all the time. I love it. I love this. I don't want him to win all the time. I don't want him to be successful. I want him to continue to bring women on, and the women either fire him or they aren't successful at all either. This is great stuff. Okay, this is great stuff to me. What have you missed so far in the show, Jamel? You'll find out. Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reid. Who? Cameron Grimes for who? Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reid. Bronson Reid off the milk carton. We haven't seen Bronson Reid since February, about mid-February, where he had a match against Killian Dane and his receding hairline, where they were trying to reclaim the magic of big man matches that Double D and Keith Lee had last year. That didn't work out so well. But here's Bronson Reid, the thick boy, having a match against Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes would he would win the match. After the match, Karrion Kross with his very angry face and showing of teeth, because they're very white and very straight, very stern face, would show up and suplex Bronson Reid. Yeah. So there you go. Yes, there you go. Finally. Oh, yes, we are announced of a new match for the NXT Takeover in Your House pay-per-view. It's a 6-woman tag. It is what you thought it would be. It is a Teddy Long special, though it doesn't involve 4, it involves 6.
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we're going to do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Yeah, figured. Interim Little Critter tournament match for the belt, the purple thing. El Hijo del Fantasma versus Drake Maverick, where basically Drake Maverick's career is on the line. If he doesn't win the match, he's been released, and so he's fighting for his life. Where El Hijo del Fantasma, not so much. Doing stuff off that I don't feel like weeing right now. I just don't feel like weeing. I just don't. I've got to conserve the wheeze for tonight, and the live watch-along is what I'm doing. Gil said, I'm disappointed that you don't do the Teddy dance. I don't do dancing. The only dancing I know is running into people. Only dancing I know is running into people and looking absurdly white. Again, El Hijo del Fantasma will powerbomb Drake on the floor. During this match, Los Conquistadores would come down to the ring to attack El Hijo del Fantasma, and he would fight them off, inevitably. But in the end, your winner and interim Little Critter champion is El Hijo del Fantasma. Drake Maverick, dejected, saddened, depressed. Can't believe this is happening to him. It's sad. He's short. You can identify with him because he is trying to succeed in something that you could never succeed in. I think I just gave a heel comment right there. But as he's walking up the ramp, a very large gentleman with a large noggin, Paul Levesque, hands to Drake Maverick a signed by him contract to remain in NXT, even though he was never released. Yes, I understand that during the mass exodus, the spring cleaning that happened in February of the performers, Drake Maverick would immediately post a tearful interlude about his release from the WWE, though he was still scheduled to compete in the Little Critter title tournament a week ago. I have no problem with this. I have no problem with them feeding that into the spring cleaning. None at all. For those that are angry about it, shut up. Got sold. Know when you're being sold to. Seriously. Ugh. What did everyone think of NXT? We will never know. But I'm sure it was a positive rating because no one watches SmackDown. No one watches NXT. But no one watches SmackDown either. That's why we're going to talk about that, which was a good show. There was a title change. There was a title change and a lot of shenanigans in a lot of shenanigans involving the Miz and the Morrison and the Burn Strowman. Look at that mug of Karen. Karen Two Belts. What do you mean Karen Two Belts? What's going on here? Well, we will explain. First off, Jeff Hardy gets into the ring and red man with red beard. It wasn't me, it was the red-haired man who was seen leaving his car that hit Elias, and out comes Sheamus, and they fight. Yeah, that's what happened. There you go. Otis with Mandy Rose in tow versus Karen Bourbon after Otis saw Karen Bourbon's ring gear and was fiddling around with his crown, and Otis wore the crown to the ring. And so that's what led to this match. Sure, that sounds grand. Your winner by disqualification would be Otis after Karen Bourbon would grab a chair and start smacking him with it, as is tradition. In a white van parked outside in the parking lot, Miz and the Morrison are being devious. They're being rapscallions. They're being obnoxious, and it's great. They have set up various pranks around the Performance Center in order to torment the much larger gentleman of Braun Strowman, like shaking up bottles of soda that explode in his face. At one point, well, first off, Shorty G is interviewed by Kayla, I believe. Is it Kayla? Yeah, it's Kayla that interviews Shorty G.
Hey, Kayla!
And just saying, hey, what's up with your return to SmackDown and your win against Cesaro? Then Mojo Rawley shows up and starts making fun of Shorty G, even though he's lost the 24/7 title. And then out comes Cesaro, and he punches Shorty G in the face, all in front of Kayla, who's just trying to do her job.
Hey, Kayla!
So, yeah, this was weird. And then Big E and Kofi show up to come to Shorty G's aid. And so, even though it's 6 people and not 4 people, we get another.
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me. Mojo Rawley off the milk carton. We haven't seen Mojo Rawley since night 2 of WrestleMania, when he was trying to get the 24/7 title, but Rob Gronkowski got it. But now Rob Gronkowski does not have the 24/7 title. R-Truth has it for the 36th time. More news on Rob Gronkowski later on in the show. At least it wasn't a long-ass, boring segment. No, you're true. That's true, Ebony. At least it wasn't. It wasn't Raw. Okay, it was not Raw. Sonja Deville versus Lacey Evans. Once again, another augmentative match to show that Sonja Deville is a thing. The promos have been superb from Sonja Deville, and now the ring work is there. We were talking earlier about CJ in the chat room going, wee! We were talking earlier about women within the WWE having a look, like a bad look or a good look or an ugly look. Okay, a bad look to me is something that does not set you apart from everyone else. Thank goodness we haven't seen Shayna Baszler, because I would be throwing Sonja Deville up in that category. All black hair, all black attire, that's supposed to be Shayna Baszler's look. But we haven't been seeing Shayna Baszler, and she needs to watch out. She might be showing up on the milk carton if she doesn't show up on television this week. So, yeah. Sonja Deville versus Lacey Evans. We talking Natalya? Natalya's up there too. I'm talking more about like Santana Garrett. We named names earlier. I'm not going back down that route. All right. Sonja Deville is doing awesome. Okay, really setting herself apart. Do I see her with the title? It doesn't matter, just as long as she is on television. Tegan Nox is the one. Tegan Nox is bland as hell. Lacey versus Sonja was a very good match. Great augmentative match, showing that Sonja Deville is a thing. Mandy Rose shows up on the Titantron, distracting Sonja Deville, causing Lacey Evans to win the match. There you go. Just because you don't win the match doesn't mean that you didn't have a good match. It doesn't mean that you aren't setting yourself apart. Great match. Also, it's a rarity that we get an injured ref bump. We get ref bumps and they're knocked unconscious or something like that. But the ref bump that led to, oh God, my ankle tweaked, we need a new ref, leading to a commercial. Top notch. Top notch. Top notch. I love, that's a great segue. Great segue. And Dolph Ziggler was supposed to be alongside Sonja Deville. Was he alongside? I can't remember. I don't think he was. I don't think Dolph Ziggler even showed up, which is fine, which shows you that Sonja Deville has now come into her own and doesn't need a mouthpiece. Let me see what else. Oh, okay. So, Kayla is backstage interviewing Braun Strowman.
Hey, Kayla!
And suddenly we get in the truck, the Miz and the Morrison being all devious and stuff. They press a button and stuff happens. I need to find the theme song to You Can't Do That on Television. I think I'll get dinged if I play it, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to. I would love to. I wish I could play the theme song to You Can't Do That on Television, but we can't do that. So the Miz and the Morrison pulling pranks backstage. They thought they set it up on their left, but it was actually on her left, and so the thing happened.
Hey, Kayla!
Yeah. I can't remember the theme to You Can't Do That on Television. I'm now going to be listening to that when the show is over with. All right. So there you go. So Kayla, the prank is off. They missed the Braun. There you go. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan in the ring, saying words about they're going to be in the finals for the Intercontinental title. Yeah. AJ Styles is a smart cookie because he didn't want a match and he's in the finals last week. Daniel Bryan's a dum-dum because he wanted to have integrity and earn his way into the match. And this leads into Drew Gulak facing AJ Styles tonight. Why? I don't know, but it's happening. So, yeah. AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak gets the win after he rolls up AJ Styles trying to pull off a Styles Clash on him. Oh, my gods. So there you go. The Miz and the Morrison take a golf club to Braun Strowman's windshield outside. Braun Strowman goes out there. He is upset. He's perturbed. He learns that the Miz and the Morrison are inside the white van. He sees it. He's upset, and he tips it over. Teddy Long special, 6-man tag. Who cares? The good guys win. And finally, for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending against Karen, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Sasha Banks. A very good match. A very, very fun match. I was very concerned about Sasha doing unnecessary Sasha things, but no, it wasn't found in this. A very simple match. Wasn't too hard to follow. Alexa would try to give up the save. Karen would drag her back out. Ends up with Sasha getting the bank statement on Nikki Cross. Nikki would reverse it, but then Sasha would reverse it back. And you're winners. And brand new women's tag team champions are Sasha Banks and Karen. That is right. Karen Two Belts is who we got. I have no problem with this. This is great. But, Karen running with her two belts up to Michael Cole's table and just yelling. I think what I loved the most was as SmackDown was going off the air, Karen like hardly lifting the two belts going, "Oh, this is so heavy. There's so much gold. I can't do it." Great. I got to it took a while. It took a long while for this to grow on me. But Karen as a heel has been fantastic during these COVID shows. Karen has been taking advantage of these shows with little audience, yelling at everything, yelling at the announcers. She is fantastic. She and Asuka have been shining during these no audience shows. More of it. Way more of it. Okay? But Karen Two Belts, Sasha Banks, are your brand new women's tag team champions. What about the Iconics? I don't know.
You gotta be joking me!
We'll get a triple threat of some kind. We'll get some dumb match of some kind. Yeah, that's what I say.
Just study that question, hey? You got a journalism for that?
I've got the journalism. I've got it in my sources, okay? Ooh, we're running low. We got to fill up with the Valencia Pale Ale. So, that was the Smackdown. What did everyone think of the Smackdown? Did anyone care about it, unlike the NXT show? Yes, they did. 77% gave the Smackdown show a thumbs up, and we all know that is par for the course because nobody watches SmackDown. Doug knows how to pour a beer. Oh, this is good stuff. I'm digging this, especially pre-gaming for the pre-show. All right, enough of that tomfoolery. We got to get you educated on the stuff that happened last week on the headlines. If you didn't watch the podcast yesterday with the effervescent one, Mike Tedesco, and the intrepid one, Jerome Willen, then you're going to get it from the drunk one of me. All right. Here's your headlines for the week. Jamel asking, are we doing a watch-along? Heck yeah, we're doing a watch-along. We're doing a watch-along. We're doing it 6:30. 6:30 watch-along is what we do. Yes. CJ saying I'm going to have to drive down to Charlotte for that Noda goodness. Yes, I'm having the Valencia Pale Ale from Noda Brewery. It is so good. So, there's a lot of horrible stuff happening right now, okay? Peaceful protests going on, being met horribly by local authorities everywhere. So much tension, so much anger, frustration, sadness, you name it. And so the WWE issued their statement June the 2nd regarding everything that's happening. And it says, quote, the WWE supports an inclusive society and condemns racial injustice. We stand beside our black performers, employees, and fans around the world and encourage everyone to use their voice to speak out against racism. We offer our sincere condolences to the family of George Floyd and the families of countless others who have lost their lives due to senseless violence. Of course, this would be met by trolls showing pictures of one-man gang, Akeem, Kamala, you name it, okay? But so what? So what? Okay? Vince McMahon reported the day after would send an email to WWE employees in support of diversity and mental health. According to a report by PW Insider and confirmed by F4Dub Online, WWE took further steps towards diversity and inclusion in the company. Email sent to all company employees by Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon reiterated those stances. So yeah, and on that same day they issued their statement. So there you go. Last week as well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson called out for lack of leadership in the face of racial injustice. If you have not seen this post, just search for it. The Rock, type in "where are you" and you got it. It was a fabulous, fabulous speech questioning the leadership that we have right now in our country. I encourage everyone to watch it. It's 8 minutes long, 9 minutes long. I would play it here, but I'm sure the Gestapo would go after me. And I don't want to do that. So please watch it at your own discretion. But I encourage you to. But those that said stupid shit on the internet, AEW star Clutch Adams would apologize for his past racist and homophobic slurs. It was reported last week that it was revealed of Adams' history of making racist and homophobic slurs. AEW Executive VP Cody Rhodes announced Saturday that the AEW dark match between Clutch Adams and Shawn Spears was removed because of his comments. Here we go with Clutch Adams' little statement regarding I'm sorry. I am not going to read it. It is not worth our time. Not worth our time at all. There are other tweets and messages that I could go over to that are not worth our time that were made by WWE employees, current and former, that I really don't think are newsworthy here. You know, it's not newsworthy. It's just fans flames, and I don't fan flames. I like just watching them and having a beer. Sipping from the sources. AEW and WWE could be closer to having fans allowed to the television shows in Florida. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has held a press conference last Wednesday stating that bars, movie theaters, and other entertainment venues are reopening in 64 counties and this started last Friday at 50% capacity with proper social distancing. This new move comes to Florida when they've entered from phase 2 going into phase 3. The same thing has happened here in North Carolina. Bars, movie theaters are not open. Here in North Carolina, bars, and I think that's about it, not entertainment venues. Bars have reopened. But some bars have opted not to set up seating, especially my Ultimate Ales craft beer bar down the road. So it's kind of hit or miss right now when it comes to here in my state, my area. But when it comes to AEW or WWE doing shows with half capacity, I don't see the positive in that. I really do not see the positive in that. And what's more is this covers 64 counties, but it does not cover Miami-Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties. Those are the most populous of the Florida counties. Right now, AEW's Dynamite show on Wednesdays is in Jacksonville, which is in Duval County, which could have audience members in it. WWE is in Orange County with the Performance Center, and they could have audience members in them. But I'm telling you right now, there's no positive in having audience showing up at their shows, okay? What makes a positive for their shows is them traveling and going to shows that can have people in them. Not necessarily people at the shows that they're doing right now where they're locked down. So until they can travel, it's really a moot point on what they're going to be doing. The WWE is no longer offering their first month free promotion to new subscribers. How dare they do that? They are so horrible. How could they do that? Dave Meltzer with its intrepid reporting with the PW Insider saying the promotion could only return during the big shows of WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. How could they do such a thing? Why would they do such a thing? It might be because earlier that week, they promoted the launch of a free version of their network. Free version of the network? Why do they need to give a month for free when you subscribe? Sounds fair to me. You got a problem with that? You've never run a business. Arn Anderson has signed a multi-year deal with AEW, and he talks about calling AEW home. Well, that's really nice. That's all I got really to add about that. Rob Gronkowski is reportedly gone from the WWE. I'm not going to go into the boys in the back talk of how they did not like Rob Gronkowski, but I'm going to do an experiment. So we're saying that Rob Gronkowski is gone from the WWE. Let's make sure of that. Here we are on the WWE Superstars page where I regularly frequent. This is the very first page I always go to when I am preparing for this show. And so let's just go through here and we'll double check this to make sure that Rob Gronkowski is not a member of the WWE roster. I just want to make sure. See, here we go. We're just scrolling through it. Look at that. Mickey James is still here. But I don't have her on there. She was doing commentating, and yeah, I'm not really putting her on there. So, Rob Gronkowski, well, look at that. Am I reading this right? Hold on. Rob Gronkowski reportedly gone from WWE. He will not be working for the company going forward. Explanation? Let's just click on it and see what show he's on. Okay, well, he's not part of a show. But he's on their flippin' roster page still. Why is he there? Why is he there, you dum-dums? I'm going to scroll down. Riddle is fine on his own. Well, that has absolutely nothing to do with Rob Gronkowski. That's all I care about there. During that. The AEW has announced that Fyter Fest will be a 2-night event on July 1st and 8th on TNT on Wednesday. So it's just regular television shows, and they're just giving them a really neat name. That's all. Jamel saying dum-dums is Doug's favorite insult. I say dum-dum a lot. I really like the movie Night at the Museum. If you couldn't tell. You dum-dum. No, you dum-dum. AEW also postponed an event that was supposed to be scheduled for Newark, New Jersey. It was scheduled for March the 25th. Earlier this year, it's now been rescheduled for February the 24th of next year. So, yeah, there you go. That's happening there. WWE canceled their Japanese live tour that was supposed to be coming up next month in July. Refunds have been offered for that. And then finally, don't know if it's really good news. Not a whole lot of good news has happened in the WWE, but this was a report that came down while I was on air last week with the Effervescent One's Queen Victoria. The WWE has apparently banned the use of the buckle bomb. According to a report by PW Insider, the WWE made the decision to ban the move after Nia Jax injured Kairi Sane taking a version of the move a few weeks ago on Raw. That happened about 3 weeks ago. I have thoughts that I am going to have right now. And it has nothing to do with the buckle bomb. It has everything to do, and I'm going to go back here to the roster page, and I will be fishing for it as I talk. On Monday Night Raw, we had a match between Kairi Sane and Nia Jax. In one point in the match, Nia Jax sent Kairi Sane into the steps. Looked pretty gruesome. Kairi Sane ended up after that match would look to be stitches or staples in her head, getting herself cut up. This is the second time that Kairi Sane had been injured in a Nia Jax match on Monday Night Raw in the past month. Doug, what are your thoughts? Let me have some sources. Nia Jax is fine. Kairi Sane is fine. No one is at fault for anything. Nia Jax is a very large individual and a very strong individual. Kairi Sane is a very small individual that likes to hurl herself into precarious situations. Earlier this year, when Kairi Sane and Asuka held the tag team titles of the women's variety, they faced the team of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Do we need to go over what happened during that match, which was the main event of that pay-per-view? Where Kairi Sane was injured, sustaining a concussion off of a bump from a ladder onto the floor. There wasn't a Nia Jax in that match. So where were the calls for Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair or Asuka to be hung from the gallows for their injury to their petite, small Japanese professional wrestling of the female variety in Kairi Sane, which I'm sure a lot of people who were offended by the previous 2 injuries to Kairi Sane this month. There are a lot of guys out there that have a problem with their waifu getting hurt. Okay? There are a lot of virgins out there that are angry that their waifu is hurt. There are more people that are angry that their waifu is hurt from someone who could easily beat them up. If you've got a problem with your waifu being hurt, you ought to talk to the waifu, because she has been chucking herself into these situations. This is not the first time. You've got to kind of ask yourself, if this is the 3rd time that someone has gotten hurt in a professional wrestling match in the past 5 months, you've got to kind of ask yourself, who's at fault here? Is it the people she's in the ring with, or is it her herself? I got no problem with anything that's happening. And I'm not offended that Kairi is hurt. Shit happens. Sometimes you overcorrect yourself. Sometimes you misjudge. Ask Cesaro how his teeth are. Stuff happens. It happens. You know, and injuries happen. Speaking of injuries, here, check this sucker out. Jinder Mahal will have to undergo knee surgery again to repair and clean up from his previous ruptured patella injury. This came from his Instagram account here from Birmingham, Alabama, saying on his account, "Unfortunately, I had to go under the knife again to fix some knee issues. The journey has hit a speed bump, but I will be back stronger than ever." We had not seen him for 3 weeks. Last time we saw him was on the April 27th episode of Raw. It was only appearance on the show in a match, but then he would show up to do some TV time, give an interview. But we hadn't seen him in nearly 3 weeks and wondered what was up. Well, now we know. I'm not going to be angry at him. Shit happens. So, there you go. We don't know really how long Jinder Mahal is going to be out. We have no timetable, but I'm pretty sure PW Insider is going to tell us it's going to be 6 to 9 months, even though they don't know the extent of the injury, because they've done this before with other people who have been injured. Who are those other people, Doug? Well, one of them was Jimmy Uso, but we'll get down the list. Razar, here is your injury list for the week. Razar of AOP with a torn bicep. He is not going to be back until SummerSlam times. Becky Lynch has a tiny human inside her tum-tum. She's not going to be back until WrestleMania times or after that. Jinder Mahal, knee injury, clean up on his knee following ruptured patella surgery. I am going to put the timetable that he's not going to be back until around October. 5 months sounds about right for me, about 4 to 5 months for cleanup surgery on his knee. Lars Sullivan, destroyed ACL and MCL. He was supposed to have come back 2 months ago. It has now been near a full calendar year since he's appeared on television, and I don't think he's going to show up anytime soon. We're going to be hearing something about him being wished the best of his future endeavors, but the problem is he's got to serve the time from his contract after he comes back from injury. So whenever he does return or he is healthy, he's going to be under contract for another calendar year. So, who knows? Xavier Woods and Ember Moon recovering from torn Achilles tendons. They should be back for SummerSlam times. Jimmy Uso, the aforementioned Jimmy Uso, who P-Dub Insider says he's going to be gone for 6 to 9 months, but they don't know the extent of the injury. That's all I got to go with. So I'm going to put him at Survivor Series times for this year. Boa, torn rotator cuff and labrum. He's not going to be back until SummerSlam times. And finally, Jessamine Duke, who you have been seeing in the crowd for all of WWE shows at the Performance Center. She had reparative surgery on both elbows. She will not be back until SummerSlam times. Nafisa Dot in the chat room going, wee! So, those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on WWE television or pay-per-view for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A special list that there are some changes to this milk carton. A lot of new people have been added on, but changes to some people that are going to make you wonder what the heck is going on. Doug, what in the heck is going on? I'll tell you what the heck is going on. It's the WWE Milk Carton. Even though I've got a new jacket and a stern look on my face, I still haven't been on TV. You know what I'm talking about? I tried so hard. Let's kick things off with one that I am really sad with. And that is Naomi. We have not seen Naomi since the May 15th episode of Smackdown when she faced off against Dana Brooke, who also hasn't been on TV since May the 15th. I don't know what the purpose was of that match, but whatever the heck it was, it did not do a damn thing. May 13th episode of NXT was the last time that we had seen Kayden Carter. She has been in the crowd. We know she's been in the crowd for all the shows. But Kayden Carter hasn't been on WWE television or pay-per-view since the May 13th episode of NXT, where she was in a match against Ilia to further the Robert Stone story. Yes. Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, we have not seen her since the May 11th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she was congratulating Becky Lynch backstage for having a baby in her tum-tum. Wasn't she supposed to be a big deal coming to Monday Night Raw? Does she have anyone to face on Monday Night Raw to continue to assure that she is a thing? Got Natalya. Got Wooby Wyatt. What are we doing? Why is she here? Wasted. Being wasted right now. Being completely wasted. Cedric Alexander. We have not seen him since that same episode of Monday Night Raw when he teamed up with Ricochet, who hasn't been seen since, when they teamed up against some guy with the last name Vink and was teaming up against that guy and Shane Thorn, who hasn't been on TV since then. Why did they have that match? Why did Naomi and Dana Brooke have a match? What was the point of that? And more to it, Shane Thorn, in this picture, this is a brand new profile pic for him on the WWE's main roster. This is his third brand new profile pic in the past 8 months. He has a brand new vest, but it still doesn't keep him from being off the milk carton. I don't know what's going on right now with the WWE's roster and their decisions on what they're making right now, but making matches, showcasing your performers, and then 3 weeks down the road, you haven't shown them since then? What is going on? Bray Wyatt. We haven't seen him since the May 10th Money in the Bank pay-per-view, where he failed in regaining the Universal title from Braun Strowman, now champion. He is at home celebrating the birth of his second child with JoJo. If Roman Reigns can do it, so can Bray. Tamina, haven't seen her since Money in the Bank on May the 10th, where she vied for the SmackDown Women's title facing Karen. She would fail in that attempt, and we have not seen her since. No shock. Carmella, haven't seen her since the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on May the 10th, where she was part of the women's Money in the Bank match. She's too busy promoting her really weird-looking boyfriend Corey Graves' podcast on Instagram and the Twitters and the thing. I don't know what she's doing. Double D, Dominic Dijakovic. Haven't seen him since the May 6th episode of NXT, where he faced off against Johnny Gargano to further confirm that Johnny Gargano is a really bad person. Reports are going around that he is supposed to be showing up on Monday Night Raw. Why? I don't know. But if they aren't showing Cedric Alexander and Ricochet in a tag team match that they had 3 weeks ago to showcase them as a talent, and they don't show them up after that, then man, does Double D, this ain't looking good. Xia Li, haven't seen her since the May 6th episode of NXT, where she faced off against Chelsea Green to further 2 storylines. The Chelsea Green Robert Stone brand thing, and the Xia Li versus Ilia thing, which then converted Ilia over to Robert Stone. But we haven't seen Xia Li in anything. She's kind of awkward in the ring, but I love the look. Damn it, there's got to be something for her. I've got a feeling they're going to be shifting her over to Raw or SmackDown soon as well. Shelton Benjamin. Haven't seen him since the May 4th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was part of a gauntlet match to determine the final participant in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He would get destroyed by Bobby Lashley, as would Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil hasn't been seen since that episode on May the 4th, but that's okay. He's too busy trying to save Tampa, Florida, and run for president of everything. Casey Catanzaro. Haven't seen her since the April 29th episode of NXT, where she faced off against Candice Larae to make sure that Candice Larae was an adequate heel, and confirmed that Candice LeRae is a heel because Casey Catanzaro is a qualified babyface in peril and can get beat up very easily. Tucker. Let's take one from our man. Tucker. We haven't seen him since April 10th episode of SmackDown, where he faced off against Dolph Ziggler. This was the post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown. Since then, his tag team partner Otis has won Money in the Bank. He's got the girl in Mandy Rose. He is the main character of SmackDown right now. He's the main character of SmackDown. I could book Otis right now for the next calendar year. And Tucker is nowhere to be found. It is sad that this guy has just been left in the dark. And it's great that Otis is succeeding. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this was the plan to begin with. But it is sad that Tucker, damn it. What would I do with Tucker? I would bring him back for a good, by the time I inevitably turn Otis into an oblivious heel and Mandy Rose into the evil mastermind controlling the oblivious heel, I would have Tucker come in to try to talk sense into the Otis, but Mandy Rose would say the sweet nothings into Otis's ear to turn on Tucker, convincing Otis that Tucker is jealous of Otis's success, and there you go. That is how I would book Tucker coming back. He would lose. There would be nothing more that I would have for Tucker. I would then ship Tucker to Raw or NXT and repackage him in some way. How? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would repackage him, but it's going to be a good 3 months that I would have him off of television to try to repackage him and keep him away from the heavy machinery moniker. It's sad. It really is sad. But it's what we've got. It's what we got. And that's okay. It would be incredibly entertaining and make for great television when it comes to a feud between Tucker and Otis. Big Show. Haven't seen the Big Show since April 6th episode of Monday Night Raw, where they aired a dark match immediately following WrestleMania Night 2, where Drew McIntyre would defend his newly won WWE title against the Big Show. We haven't seen the Big Show since then because he's been too busy promoting his sitcom on Netflix called The Big Show Show. Bork Laser, haven't seen him since April the 5th, WrestleMania Night 2, where he lost the belt to Drew McIntyre. We're not seeing Bork Laser anywhere until the crowds come back and touring resumes. Sami Zayn, haven't seen him since WrestleMania Night 1 on April the 4th, where he defended his Intercontinental title against Daniel Bryan and was successful. Since then, he was stripped of the Intercontinental title, and he has been very vocal on the Twitter with his opinions on policy and everything else. I'm scared of what may happen to Sami Zayn. I'm a little frightened. I'm weary of what may happen to him with being so vocal. But we'll see what happens. Joaquin Wilde, haven't seen him since the April 1st episode of NXT, where he lost in a match against Kushida and then was abducted by Los Conquistadores and shoved into an SUV. Killian Dane and his receding hairline were last seen on March the 25th episode of NXT, where he faced off against Tahuti Juicy Fruity Miles in a squash match to confirm that Killian Dane was a thing. Apparently that was not successful, since we haven't seen Killian Dane in 2.5 months. Riddick Moss, haven't seen him since the March 23rd episode of Raw, where he was jogging down his a neighborhood of some kind in American suburbia with the 24/7 title. He was rolled up by R-Truth, lost the 24/7 title, and apparently has been locked out of his home. I don't know where he is. Roman Reigns. Burn. I'm trying to do the guitar wacky Morse code solo thing. Roman Reigns, we haven't seen him since the March 20th episode of Smackdown, where he signed a contract with Goldberg to square off for the WWE Universal title, and that match never happened. He's too busy having fun with his kids, is what he's doing. If you want to say it's because he had formerly had the leukemia and he's aware of, and he's scared of the spiky Nerf ball, so be it. But pick whatever your reason or want. I think it's self-explanatory. Grizzled young veterans James Drake and Zach Gibson. Haven't seen them since the March 11th episode of NXT, where they blindsided then NXT Tag Team Champions Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle to confirm that they're there and they want the titles. We are now close to 3 months since the 5-week-long build for these guys as a thing in NXT. They aren't a thing. They are in England. They showed up on episodes of NXT UK. We want to talk about wastes of time and wastes of resources? There's your waste of resources. You wasted 5 weeks of television to build these guys up, and now you haven't had them on television. Raul Mendoza, haven't seen him since the March 11th episode of NXT, where he had a match against Kushida and lost, and then he was abducted by Los Conquistadores and tossed into an SUV. It is further confirming the theory, further confirming the theory that if you're in a match with Kushida, you better damn well win, or else Los Conquistadores is gonna grab you and toss you into an SUV. AOP. Rezar may be injured, but I'm counting them both. They haven't been seen since March the 9th, where they took part in a, you guessed it.
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
A Teddy Long special, a 6-man tag, an 8-man tag. It was a Teddy Long special for 5 weeks. Going into March the 9th, we had Teddy Long specials involving AOP, Seth Rollins, Murphy, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and the Viking Raiders, you name them. They were part of it. Oh, by the way, that's a brand new promo picture for Rezar. He has a torn bicep, but that's a brand new picture of him. I don't know what the deal is with the WWE and when guys are hurt, having them take a brand new promo, a brand new roster page profile pic. I don't know what it is, but it's something that we seem to see a lot. Robert Roode. Haven't seen him since the March 8th Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where he took part in the Smackdown Tag Team title match, where he teamed up with Dolph Ziggler. He is locked in Canada. Don't know what's going on there. Marina Shafir, haven't seen her since the March 4th episode of NXT, where she shoved a stick into a cage to help her hubby, Roderick Strong, fend off Velveteen Dream, and that didn't happen so well. Mansoor, haven't seen him since February 27th's Super Showdown show after Riyadh or Jeddah or Bismarck, South Dakota, where he faced off against Dolph Ziggler. Further confirming the theory that Mansoor only performs in his home country of South Dakota. Who's this thirsty fella, you may ask? Why, that's Kona Reeves with a brand new profile pic. Kona Reeves. We have not seen him since February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Keith Lee in the span of 25 seconds. Yeah, exactly, Jamel. Who's that Pokemon? Yeah. What is up with people who are not on WWE TV and they get brand new profile pics? I don't know. Mercedes Martinez. We haven't seen her since the February 5th episode of NXT, where she faced off against Casey Catanzaro to try to confirm that Mercedes Martinez is a thing after her appearance at the Royal Rumble. No, she is not a thing. We haven't seen her for 4 months. Vanessa Bourne, we haven't seen her since the January 15th episode of NXT, where she took part in a battle royal of the Vagina Persuasion to find out who would be the number one contender for the then NXT Women's title that was defended by Rhea Ripley, and it would be done at NXT Takeover Portland. The winner of that thing was the Bianca Belair. I don't know where Vanessa Bourne is. Her and Ilia were supposed to be a tandem like the beautiful people. No, that's not happening. Let's dip into 2019. Mustafa Ali. We haven't seen him since the December 27th of 2019 episode of Smackdown where he said inspirational shit. Doug, he's the messenger. He's the guy that's going to tell the truth. He's got all the computers. He's got the TVs. He's going to tell us the truth because he watches TV just like the rest of us. We haven't seen the messenger in 2 weeks either. Weird, wacky messenger guy with the TVs and the keyboards and all the shit. He hasn't been on SmackDown in 2 weeks. And that's supposed to be everyone's thinking this guy. What is going on? What is going on right now? What are we doing with these people? Cut them right now. Seriously, just cut them. Be no skin off my bones. It won't shock me. I'm sure it'll shock everyone else that isn't paying attention to this shit. But that's why I do the WWE Milk Carton. That's why I provide this service to you. To make you aware of someone who has not been on TV in almost 6 months. Who was a focal figure on WWE television. Bo Dallas. Haven't seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown, where him, Curtis Axel, and Drew Gulak were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman leading up to Survivor Series. I don't know why he's still here. I don't know why he's there. What are we doing? Are you going to be offended that Bo Dallas has been released next week? You shouldn't be. But finally, the stalwart of the WWE Milk Carton. We are now 3 months away. A little over 3 months away from this guy not being on television or pay-per-view of the WWE or NXT variety over a calendar year. I know he's not the Colognes. I know he's not Primo or Epico Cologne, but he's the next thing that we've got. I know it's not much to jump up and down about and really celebrate, but it is what it is. The stalwart of the WWE Milk Carton, Arturo Ruas. We haven't seen this guy since September 18th of 2019. The debut episode of NXT on the USA Network was the last time we saw Arturo Ruas. He had a match against Pete Dunne to confirm that Pete Dunne was a thing. Pete Dunne became a thing, became a tag team champion, and did a lot of other things, had some triple threat matches and stuff, and he has not been seen since the spiky Nerf ball has infiltrated the space of Americas. I don't know if I'm ready to see Arturo Ruas return to television. I don't think anyone's going to miss him. Not at all. They'll insert him somewhere. I'm sure they will. I'm sure he's been in the crowds. He's been in the sparse crowds of all the WWE television shows, but so be it. That is the Milk Carton, who is slated to show up next on the Milk Carton. Only looking at 3 more performers. Looking at 3 more performers that could be ending up on the Milk Carton if they don't show up on television within the following week. And they're Of the three, two of them are very noticeable. One is incredibly noticeable. So, yeah. Don't know what we're going to do about that. Goose wanting someone more relevant at the head of the milk carton. Well, tell people not to show up on television. Tell them to suck, and then they won't. There you go. I know no one can tell who Arturo Ruas is, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to help. All right. That's the milk carton. Time to go over the stuff that is putting my liver on the line. A new match has been announced for the NXT Takeover In Your House card that is happening later this afternoon. So I'm just going to mention that. Going to go over the predictions that Queen Victoria made in. All right. NXT Takeover In Your House. You know what? My background is really ticking me off. I'm going to blow this up a little bit, if you don't mind. Pardon me. Professionalism. Professionalism. That's what this is. There we go. All right. NXT Takeover In Your House. One match has been added that I'm sure is going to be put on the pre-show that is coming up here later tonight. Later this evening. Okay, so here we go. That match is a Teddy Long special. It is a 6-woman tag match involving Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, and Shotzi Blackheart facing off against Candice LeRae, who looks a lot like what's her face from Mortal Kombat 3. Shiva? Is that Shiva? Who is Shao Kahn's wife in Mortal Kombat 3? Who is that? Is that Shiva? Is that Shiba? What was her name? Sindel. Thank you, CJ. I know CJ would help me out in that one. Sindel. She looks like Sindel, doesn't she? She could just heighten up the hair. She reminds, Candice LeRae looks like Sindel in community college. Yeah. And then Shao Kahn shows up in his IROC to pick her up from classes. Shao Kahn driving an IROC picking up Sindel in her 20s from community college, where she's learning how to be a dental assistant. Well, she screams. I think it's stuff with the mouth. Where is this show going, Doug? I don't know where it's going. There you go, Jamel, in a pair of Zubas. Shao Kahn driving an IROC wearing Zubas. Why are we talking about this? Because she looks like Sindel. That's all. That's all. We got off the rails of what we needed to. We needed to tell you the truth. We've only had an Egg McMuffin, and we got 2 beers in us, so yeah, this is going to be a good show. Teddy Long special. What are we doing with this? I'm not doing anything with this. I'm not even predicting it. It's just going to be happening when we show up for the show. Speaking of the show. So the pre-show, this is the pre-show for the pre-show, but the pre-show of NXT TakeOver In Your House is 6:30 this evening on the WWE Network. And that is the time that I will be on air here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel to do a watch-along for the NXT TakeOver In Your House thing. 6:30 is when I will try to be on air when their pre-show goes on air, and I will time all of my scene shifts and everything so that if you were to watch the WWE Network with the TakeOver show, you can just put me on, and there you go. We're all synced up. There you go. That's how we do it. Montel Jordan. So, who cares about this match? Let's talk about the predictions that Queen Victoria from Wrestleview.com made. So, here's the deal. This is why, the big reason why I'm doing the show, the watch-along, is last week, Queen Victoria showed up, was a great guest host for the show, and the responsibility was on her to make the predictions for NXT TakeOver In Your House. and every prediction was a locked pick. Doug, what is a locked pick? Well, when we make predictions on here, and every show makes predictions, if we feel so confident in the prediction that we make, we will lock it. And if the locked prediction is wrong, I take a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. I will not be doing that during the watch-along unless we end up with odd-numbered picks that go bad. But 5 matches going on at NXT TakeOver in your house. Every one of them are locks. My safety for tomorrow morning going to work is well, no. My liver's in jeopardy. It always is. But here we go. Here are her picks for this coming NXT TakeOver in your house. Fons Balor facing off against Taffy Pole, Aleister Black, Damian Priest. She selected Fons Balor in this match. I got no problem with that. This is really just an auxiliary match. It's not meant to bring up or bring down anybody. Fons Balor was slated to go after Walter and the NXT UK title. That has been put on the kibosh because of spiky Nerf ball. What's Damian Priest doing? Not a whole lot of anything. So we give them a match and we tried to hype it up for 3 or 4 weeks. Fons winning, I got no problem with that. I honestly see Taffy Pole Aleister Black slugging him with a chair and we carry this on over for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Tomato Chomper squaring off against the Karrion Kross in them. Scarlet. Queen Victoria selected Karrion Kross in this match with his very straight and very white teeth and very angry-looking face against the very hairy-looking Tomato Chomper, but got very hairless Scarlet. I totally agree with this one. Karrion Kross has been built up with vignettes and 2 squash matches for 10 weeks. There is no reason why Karrion Kross should not win this match. I know Scarlett does not look like this in real life. We have got the footage to prove it. Keith Lee defending the NXT North American title against Johnny Gargano. There's going to be a schmoz and a half going on the outside with a lot of females and stuff. I'm not sure if there are any males that'll get involved. I don't think so. But Queen Victoria selected Keith Lee to win the match. Whether he retains the title, yes, he's going to have to retain it if he's going to win the match. So it's going to be a schmoz and a half going on. I've got plans on Keith Lee having the NXT title before WrestleMania times. Now is not the time to make that shift. The shift will be made in a clusterfuck of some kind to protect Keith Lee. Triple threat match for the NXT women's title. Charlotte Flair defending against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. I believe Queen Victoria selected Charlotte Flair to retain. This is kind of weird. We don't have any plans right now for the NXT women's division. The only thing we're doing right now is trying to build up Candice LeRae as a heel, and that's about it. Charlotte Flair's going to win, but the only way she's losing the title is in a clusterfuck, and this is not the clusterfuck she's going to lose it in. And again, the only mobility we're seeing in the women's division on the NXT side is LeRae's ascent into being a heel. Yeah. I have no idea what they plan on doing here. Is Flair really going to be holding the NXT title throughout the calendar year leading up to WrestleMania? Probably not. Probably not. The story that they're going to try to build is LeRae and Gargano being title holders. When that will happen, we're not sure. Right now, I don't know what's happening with the title, but I know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And finally, Adam Cole defending the NXT title against Velveteen Dream, which has now been confirmed as a backlot brawl. It is now a no DQ, no count out, backlot brawl. Kind of, I don't want to say like what Goldust and Roddy Piper was, not like what John Cena and Eddie Guerrero was. No, I don't want to think it's that, but it's going to be a cinematic match. And Queen Victoria says that Velveteen Dream will be our brand new NXT champion. This one I'm a little scared of. I'm not sure. I don't know. CJ bringing it more like JBL John Cena. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, it's right. I think it'll be more JBL John Cena. This is the match I'm scared of. This is the match I'm really, really scared of. But if it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, I'm okay with losing. I've always been okay with losing. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that's great. Sometimes it's great to know what's happening in professional wrestling. I know it's hard to believe, but sometimes you want to be thrown on your heels, you know? So, Velveteen Dream, I don't know. I just don't know what we're going to do after this. Is this when we're shipping Undisputed Era? No, I'm not thinking that. A lot of people are, but the problem is I'm not shipping them. I don't know. There are a lot more matches. There are a lot more matches that we could have here, though. And when I mean matches, I'm talking about stuff that I can do with Undisputed Era and Velveteen Dream after this. Sometime we're going to have to revisit the WrestleMania whiteboard after these next 2 weeks. Programming note, I'm going to fill you in on all of that. So, once again, your predictions for the NXT Takeover in your house, which I'm going to be doing a watch-along here later this evening. 6 women, Teddy Long special, don't care about it. We are taking Fons Balor over Taffy Pole, Aleister Black, Damian Priest. Karrion Kross over Tomato Chomper with the incredibly photoshopped Scarlett. Keith Lee successfully defending the North American title against Johnny Gargano. Charlotte Flair defending the NXT Women's title successfully against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. What is up with, it looks like it's incredibly cropped on Charlotte Flair's picture. And finally, Adam Cole losing the NXT title to Velveteen Dream in a backlot brawl, and that's what it's going to be. Do not start saying goodbye just yet, because I got programming notes. Programming notes. So, tonight, 6:30, be here, be square, or be a rhombus, I don't care. 6:30 tonight, I will be here to do the NXT Takeover in your house watch-along thingy. Todd Pettengill will probably stop by and make me feel incredibly old. Stop by. I'm going to have lots of sources. I'm going to have snacks. No Cheetos, because I got to type in the thing. And so, yeah, stop by. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then more programming. So tomorrow, Monday Night Raw recap with the effervescent one, Mike Tedesco and Queen Victoria, where they will talk about Monday Night Raw. Next Saturday, Wrestleview News, maybe, depending on the effervescent one and the intrepid one, Mike Tedesco and Jerome Willen, going over the headlines of the Wrestleview News. I forgot to mention, the next episode of Wrestleview Weekly will be Friday night, immediately following Smackdown. Friday night, Wrestleview Weekly here, where we will make predictions for WWE Backlash, which is happening next week. WWE Backlash is next Sunday. So Friday night, immediately following Smackdown, we're going to have a Smackdown recap. We're going to do all the stuff right here. We're going to make the picks for Backlash. And then finally, immediately following WWE Backlash next week will be Wrestleview Live with myself and the effervescent Mike Tedesco. Did you get that? Did you got it? Did you write it down? Have you subscribed to the Wrestleview channel? What are you doing? Wrestleview. Subscribe. Now. Then you wouldn't have to write down all this crap and remember it. That is correct, Jamel. No Wrestleview Weekly next Sunday. It will be on Friday, so that I have the entire card of WWE Backlash so that I can properly predict it and properly pray, I guess is the best way to put it. So, all right. Did you get that? Post-Raw recap on Monday night. Friday, immediately following SmackDown. Wrestleview Weekly. Wrestleview News on Saturday. Wrestleview Live following Backlash to recap it. But tonight, 6:30, show up here. Going to be watching NXT Takeover in your house. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of sources. I've got lots of nice beer I want to talk about. I might dip into the scotch. I don't know. But it's going to be fun. Stay safe. Love everyone. Don't be an asshole. Okay? It's the only words of wisdom that I can really give ever since all this wacky stuff that's happening this year. I can only hope that I can give you guys some entertainment and some kind of relief from it all. But I will see you guys in a handful of hours, and in a few hours here later on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. Take it easy. Get some food in your bellies. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm probably going to make a beer run. As always, know when you're being sold to.